It's the R&B Show, the podcast dedicated to prep. Featuring Ricardo Arguello.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, eating up all the food.
And Brett Christopherson.
This guy threw at his own kid in a father-son game.
Produced by Jim Rosendick.
The once great chef, now a study in muffishness.
And now, the best dang prep sports duo in Wisconsin. Here's Ricardo and Brett.
Yes. If you notice in that intro, a certain member of our team is no longer with us. That is Trent Tetzloff. We say goodbye to him. Actually, he came in right before going to lunch here, Brett, his final day. It's a sad day. We lose Trent. He is moving on to bigger and better things, and we wish him the best of luck. But we also value his time here. Brett had a great time getting to know the kid. Can't say enough about him. Guy came in, worked hard, and was a big part of our show, and we're going to miss him.
We are going to miss him, but did you notice how quickly he was eliminated from the intro?
That's right.
We don't waste any time here.
Rosie's ruthless.
Rosie's like the godfather.
Yikes, you're out.
You're out of the family now.
Let's go fishing.
But we kid, of course, because we love Trent, and he's a good guy.
That's a scene.
And he's a very, very hard-working millennial. He's going to do some big things because he has a great work ethic. Am I right, Brett?
Great work ethic, great kid. He's capable.
Very capable.
Doing good things, and we'll miss him. He did some good stuff with our Clubhouse Live team as well, but he's making a move that's right for him and good for him.
Yes, absolutely. We had some cake yesterday.
Always fun always fun to talk sports with Trent too.
You ever notice that when there are food days, there are more people in the office?
Of course. I know. I was in here for that. Come on.
I thought you were here just by accident.
No, I was in here for the food.
I haven't seen the conference room.
Actually, no, I did actually forget about that, but it came out, oh, yes, I'm here for the food, too. Well, hey, welcome to the R&B Show, episode number 29 of our second season, the only podcast dedicated to high school sports in the Fox Valley. I'm your co-host, Ricardo Arguello, alongside with me, as always, Brett Christopherson, also Jim Rosendick producing. So we appreciate what do I call it? The three amigos back together again, like it originally started here. A couple of topics that we're going to talk about at length here because I think they're very important and pertain to the high school level as well as the collegiate level and nationally as well. We're talking about Sam and Joey Hauser leaving Marquette.
That's a shocker. Huh?
Yeah, a little bit of a shocker. They came over Monday, correct me if I'm wrong, Brett. We're going to talk at length about that because I had a Q&A that I had with Scott Anderson, the coach over there at SPASH. And we're going to talk about that at length and maybe get some thoughts from Brett on that and myself as well as Rosie because that's big news and it's something that affects the state college teams. And also, it kind of goes down to the high school level as well. I know what I'm going to lament, Brett, is how are so many great players not at Wisconsin, the University of Wisconsin.
That might change,
is what I'm saying. Maybe it changes.
It might change. Rumors
swirling around. Real quickly, then, I'm going to touch just on real quickly on top baseball, softball teams in our area because that stuff's kind of ramping up a little bit. I'm going to have rankings out very soon. I'm thinking maybe next week as we get the spring season underway, the short spring season.
Hey, Mother Nature's been okay.
Okay right now.
She's going to get a little rainy.
Oh, now
here.
At
least today.
You jinxed us. Now you jinxed us. Well, it's supposed to be tomorrow too, isn't it?
I didn't think all day. My son's got an invite up into Pier Track, and I'm hoping that gets underway. He ran up in Marinette last night, so I drove all the way up to Michigan basically to watch my son compete.
And
did well.
Okay,
I mean, it's it's a triangular.
It's all worth it.
How is Michigan this time of year?
It was funny because there's a Facebook post on their track team, and after the meet, the distance runners had to run and do a cool down. They ran all the way to Michigan and took a picture next to the Pure Michigan sign, and then ran back to to the track. I don't know how much. That must be only a few miles away or something.
That's pretty awesome. That's great. That's too far for me.
But it was nice. I thought it was going to be cold, off the bay, and you're up north. But it was a beautiful night, and they're at the stage of the season now where they're doing a lot of lifting and workouts, so the legs are tired.
Yeah, I bet.
So
well, they're going to have to chill a little bit as we ramp up for the postseason when it comes to the spring sports. Last thing we're talking about is the varsity roundtable. Just quickly preview that. Appleton East baseball players Jack Habeck and Zach Schneider are going to be on the big show tonight. Also, our fantasy draft, the first one post-Trent. Favorite defunct professional sports teams. It's going to be very interesting. We're all going to vote on this, by the way, and then I'll post the results online afterwards. Brett, you already have a couple in your head?
I do. You kind of you stole mine. When
all I did was give out names. I'm not saying they're my favorite ones.
Well, we're going to have to get rules in place because does defunct mean completely defunct, or does it mean that a team that no longer exists because they moved to another city?
Yes, I think a team that is no longer competing, a brand.
Even if they are in a different,
Yes, I think that qualifies. Okay. We'll talk about that more as we go along here. But, yeah, the first order of business, Brett, and I know this is big news when we first saw it. It was a bit shocking, actually, when we first saw it come across, was Joey and Sam Hauser leaving Marquette. rumors swirling why that happened. I think anybody who watched Marquette over the last couple months, or not really the last month, but that's really how many games do we kind of see that in my opinion the offense devolve?
Well, it's certainly this season because I watched a lot of Marquette basketball games, and there were moments of frustration as I'm watching. It's like, man, share the ball a little bit more, huh? Let's run some offense. Let's get some guys involved. And I remember even saying to my sons too, gosh, I mean, Sam and Joey are pretty good players, and they're pretty good shooters, and it just didn't seem like they got as many touches as I thought they should have gotten.
Yeah, and that was a sad thing to watch, and I'm sure if you're a Marquette fan, and I don't know how many folks like Howard or whatever, but I wonder if they were thinking to myself, if the fans were thinking to themselves, if he comes back, is that a good thing? Actually, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to quantify. I would imagine I'm going to be honest. I don't follow Marquette as closely as I do perhaps Wisconsin, but you did though. You watched enough of their games, so I don't know. Yeah,
the thing about Marcus Howard is when he gets going though.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's streaky.
It's a show.
Yeah,
I mean, it guy can just light it up from. He's in range once he crosses the half court line. One of those types.
He's never met a shot he doesn't like.
But that's the problem too. I thought was. Then he would have moments where he really wasn't shooting well, but he's still jacking them up, and it's like, man, that's not a good shot. Or he would try to take on three guys as he attacks the rim. It's like, that's not a good shot. And you got a lot of talent on that floor, in particular with the Hauser boys, Sam and Joey. We've seen them many times. They can spot up and shoot, and they're good enough to fill it up as well. I think you and I would agree that the best basketball teams, in at least my opinion, are the ones that share the ball.
Like Virginia?
They're case in point, right? That can, you got your main guys, but you got other guys that can step in and you spread it and you move it and you get everybody involved. And rather than trying to just key in on one guy who, at times took too many shots, in my opinion. Before,
I talk about talking with Coach Anderson at Spash about these guys. Brett, real quick, your thoughts. What does this mean about Wojo, though?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean,
is he on the hot seat? He has to be on the hot seat.
I think he is. Yeah, the team was ranked pretty high during the season,
and they were ranked number 2 going into next. You see the ESPN poll?
I saw the pre-seed way too early poll of number 2, which I thought was even a little high for them. Although I think they got a couple guys coming in that are really good players, so really could have solidified the team and the depth, and could have been pretty tough. But I always thought, at least early in Wojo's tenure at Marquette, the defense was lacking, which is strange because he was always a defensive-minded player at Duke. I thought maybe they're shoring that up a little bit, but then I thought the offense got too one-dimensional with Marcus Howard.
You're being very gracious with that.
And then they didn't even win the Big East, which was a down season for the Big East this year, and they really faltered down the stretch and then got beat right away in the tournament and did not look good getting beat.
No.
And even then, you're like, boy, what is going on here? I mean,
and in the ACC tournament, they didn't look. I mean,
Big East
tournament. I'm sorry, they didn't look good either.
Right. So you're thinking, gee, what is going on here? Why are they slipping? Is there something going on with the coaching? And then now you add the fact that these were 2 of his centerpiece recruits.
Yeah.
That are deciding to leave. And what's really interesting too is when, at least right now, as you look at it, well, Sam for sure, he's only got 1 year. He's played 3 years at Marquette, so he only has 1 more year to go.
Right.
You look at Joey, if he doesn't, if I'm sure he's going to appeal the NCAA or apply, try to get
of course
the additional year back. But right now, he has 3 years of eligibility remaining at Marquette. Him transferring now, he will lose a year, only have 2 remaining because he used that red shirt, because he was an early enrollee at Marquette, mainly to get rehabbed and get his ankle and his foot right. So interesting that as of right now, Joey is willing to give up a year of eligibility, although he must feel fairly confident that the NCAA might grant him that year back.
I think that's what he's
Sam
thinking.
too. I only got 1 year left, but so I'm willing to sit out a year just to play 1 more year somewhere else. So it'd be interesting to see, or if it does, hopefully it does. We get some answers on what was going on here and why this happened.
There's a story there. There's absolutely a story there, and I think we'll know more as perhaps throughout the year on why the Hausers left. But and that's actually a topic I brought up with Scott Anderson, the coach over there at Spash, who has known these guys since they were little guys, if you can imagine 6'9" guys being little guys. But yeah, he's known them since their youth days. Had a great conversation with Scott. He was very open, very willing to talk, and I appreciated the time with him. And we have a good relationship with Scott Anderson. Covered those teams, those great Spash teams.
He was the Nina coach for many years.
Nina coach and so we have a great relationship with him. He was able to talk about this, and I thought he shed some pretty interesting and good light, Brett, on maybe like what they're thinking about it. It's always about these athletes. And I thought, one thing I took away from that, Brett, and I want you to talk about this as well. He talked about the athletes having very short windows to do something great, and I thought that really hit home. People don't realize it's not about, kind of like other factors. I don't think you think about the little window. I want to do as much as I can for a team that can do as much as it can, and they must have felt that wasn't going to be at Marquette.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting comment too. And then now you spin it forward and you look at who are the two front runners. The rumored front runners are Wisconsin and Virginia. We know that Virginia was after both of them, Sam and Joey. And then you can't help but wonder now as they look back and see, obviously, Virginia winning the national championship, if they look and have like a little bit of regret thinking, dang, we could have gone that route, a team that really embodies team basketball, and we could have been on the king of the hill right there and celebrating a national championship. So
you know what school they should consider? UW Milwaukee.
How about UW Stevens Point? Be a Division III
powerhouse. They don't want to play at a high school
level.
Back home. They don't want to play at a high school level.
Come back home, Sam and Joy. Play for the Pointers.
Yeah, but there was some speculation. Obviously, Wisconsin. A lot of folks are thinking, there's some rumors there. They can come in right away. The right that their parents will be right there. And I talked with Stephanie Hauser as well. Happens to be assistant director there for the WIA. So she's always been very good at communicating with us.
Her and Dave, good people.
Her and Dave, great people, great people. And as a Wisconsin fan myself, even though I went to UW Milwaukee, I'm still a Wisconsin Badgers fan. I would love to see that happen. I think a lot of people would love to see that happen. But will that happen, Brett?
I don't know.
No, but give me your gut feeling. Don't give me this. Come on.
My gut feeling
is it will happen. They're going to be Badgers.
I remember, I guess it depends, like you said, I guess it depends on the family situation. Initially, my gut feeling when I heard it right away was Virginia. They're going to Virginia. Okay. And think about it, and we've said it before, Virginia has very strong ties to Stevens Point on that team. Tony Bennett grew up there before going to Preble because his dad was the head coach of the Pointers.
But did they necessarily translate to the Hausers, though?
Well, I think there's relationships there. Brad Soderberg, the assistant coach, grew up in Stevens Point. His father, Don, a legendary coach at Pacelli. Eric Bacher, the sports information director, assistant. I think he might even be assistant athletic director at Virginia. The primary contact for men's basketball grew up in Stevens Point. I actually worked with Eric at the old Northside IGA, so I know him a little bit.
Northside IGA,
and
wow.
And Brad was actually my youth baseball coach at the Stevens Point Park and Rec back when I think we were the Cubs.
Okay.
So there's strong ties. The families, I'm sure, know each other very well. Jack Bennett, Dick's brother, Tony's uncle lives in Stevens Point still, obviously the former Pointer coach. So
Brett, answer the question. Will Sam and Joey Hauser be Badgers?
I will say this. I will answer the question this way. I think they go to Virginia unless because Steph and Dave were such fixtures at Marquette games, it would be ultimately very important for them to be able to continue that, because obviously it's going to be a lot harder to go to Charlottesville, Virginia than it is to go down to Madison.
Yes.
If they sit down as a family and say, geez, guys, really want to be there, and they want their parents there. They want that, how it has been at Marquette. They want that to continue. Then they're going to go to Madison. If they're both like, if Dave and Stephanie are like, you know what, you do what you want to do, and we'll make it work as much as we can. Virginia's on TV all the time anyway.
Right.
I'm sure they can make trips. Notre Dame is in the ACC, so they can go to South Bend. That sort of thing, so that I'm sure they can pick and choose some trips to Charlottesville or throughout the ACC. If they think, hey, do it, then I think they're going to Virginia. But I think the ultimate decider will be family, and if it's important to all of them that they can be there in person.
Badgers. I think it's going to be Badgers, and I think Marquette fans are going to be furious.
Yeah, they will be.
They will be furious. That they are going to be Badgers, but too bad. They're really, I'm not. One question I asked him, Brett, was about this whole social media thing, and I hope the Hausers don't take abuse for this, because I can absolutely understand. It was somewhat. There was a theme throughout my questioning about. Let's be honest. He took too many shots, Marcus Howard. Too many dumb shots. Really kind of made it difficult for Marquette to have that offense run at an efficient level. Brett, I think that was clear as day. We could see that. Anyone could see that. And I asked him straight out if that was possibly reason. He said that he did not hear that from the Hausers, but how could it not be? How could it not be?
Well, and I thought you brought up a good point in your Q&A, which you can find on postcrescent.com.
Yes, thank you.
And I think a lot of our websites, USA Today Network, it's even linked to the Journal Sentinel story that Jeff Petrikis did on looking at the front runners, adding Michigan State to that list as well. I don't see that happening, though.
Okay.
But the fact that the Hausers came from a very structured environment at Spash.
Yes.
And Spash made it, talk about 3 guys that could score when you had Trevor Anderson to the mix, too, Scott's son, and the fact that they made it work. And they shared the basketball, and they were unstoppable.
But here's the thing, though. This is what I mean when you talk about sharing the ball, being efficient, looking for the best shot. Remember, Drew Blair was the fourth
He was
option.
another one, yeah.
He was another. See, it wasn't just about the Hausers and Trev Anderson.
Yeah, good point.
They would go when they had to. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, the team game and why it translates on all levels, not just high school, but college and pros. How can you fault the Hausers for doing that? In my opinion, Wojo let it get bad. He let it, if you don't curtail Howard, maybe that's what they saw. Hey, coach isn't stepping in. He's coming back for another year. We're going to expect more 40-shot games from Marcus Howard. I don't blame them one bit for saying, look, Sam's like, I have 1 year left to do this. I want to be somewhere where, it's a team game. I thought it was very, very interesting that, Coach Anderson talked about that at length. So
yeah,
maybe that was, again, I don't want to use unhappy, but dissatisfied, I think, completely
frustrated.
applies here.
Frustrated,
yes.
too. Here's another point to consider too, and I don't know this, but I'm just going to speculate and say that Sam and Joey have pro basketball aspirations beyond college. Well, you got to also look at if Virginia and Wisconsin are the front runners, which program gives you the better shot at maybe an NBA/pro career? Sorry, Badger fans, it's Virginia. Look at this year's team right now. DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome and now Kyle Guy have all declared for the NBA.
Okay, I don't dispute that.
DeAndre Hunter's a lottery pick. Ty Jerome's a projected first rounder. And Kyle Guy maybe slips into the first round. If not, second round, then he's got a decision to make if he wants to come back if he's a second rounder.
Yep.
In the years, you've had Justin Anderson. You've had Josh Harris. You've had Malcolm Brogdon, who's obviously Bucks fans are waiting for Brogdon, the president, to come back and maybe help lead them to a finals appearance. And I might even be missing one. What has Wisconsin done other than recently? I suppose Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker. They're not churning out NBA prospects or pro prospects.
Well, the last one was Devin Harris. Am I right?
Before those two?
Yeah, you're thinking about it.
Orlando Tucker was in the NBA.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
he
but
played
he
for the
didn't do
Suns a
anything,
little bit.
yeah.
But Virginia has.
Yes.
And that's a feather in Tony Bennett's hat because there's something else his recruits are looking at that might have aspirations to play at the next level. It's like, well, this guy's getting guys in to the league, which is not to go off on a tangent. Very interesting to me, the fact that he gets criticized and his system gets criticized, but they won a national championship and he's churning out NBA prospects.
Yes.
I mean, come on, people, give me a break. And can I also I have a bone to pick.
Okay, go ahead, Brett.
It's Stevens Point Area Senior High. That is what SPASH, that's the acronym, SPASH, Stevens Point. It's not Stevens Point High School.
I've done that.
That doesn't exist.
I've done that on occasion.
Stevens Point High School is no such thing.
It's just semantics, in my opinion.
No.
Same difference.
Nina
Area
High
Senior
School,
High.
Stevens Point Area Senior High.
It's like tomato.
All right.
It's the same thing.
So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see, but I'm leaning towards Virginia. I think that's where they end up. There will be scholarships available, especially now if Hunter and Jerome and Guy are gone. And boy, talk about a system that is tailor-made for the Hausers.
Yeah.
So would the Badgers too, but man, that fit for the Hausers. They would be really good players. And not only that, but then you get to sit out a year and you get to soak it all in and maybe improve defensively because obviously you got to play defense if you're going to play for Tony Bennett. You got to play defense if you play for Greg Gard too. But I just think that it's tailor-made, and then you have the strong Stevens Point ties on that team as well.
Interesting stuff. We're going to switch real quick, going over to baseball and softball top teams. Look, next week I'll be trying to put together, and I say try because the spring season's so goofy. I'm trying to put together the top baseball and softball teams. Some of the top baseball teams, I don't know if you know this, Brett, Kimberly is really high up there in the rankings. I think along with Wanakee maybe, and there's a Green Bay school. Maybe it's Preble. I can't remember.
Yeah, but Bayport just beat Preble.
Oh, really? Okay.
Did I see that last night? I
Wow.
think they might have even blanked them. Yeah.
Wow, interesting, because Preble has a couple of top players. But, yeah, Kimberly with the Lechner brothers and Schumacher that are returning player of the year, one of the top catchers around. Tennyson's a great pitcher. I mean, they have a lot of great players. That Kimberly team looking to make it back over there, the Grand Chute. Also, another team to keep an eye on as well is Hortonville. Hortonville has Jenner John, the pitcher who's throwing, I think, over or near 90. I have to talk to maybe the coach a little bit.
I would think he'd be a draft prospect then if he's throwing that hard in high school.
Exactly. One of the top hitters, Eli Kramer, having a great year. So Hortonville's up there. Check out Appleton East, our guys that are coming in. They just blanked Appleton North not too long ago, and we're going to have some fun talking to those guys. So we have some baseball teams that are kind of rising to the occasion early on here.
St. Mary Catholic.
St. Mary Catholic's
Top ranked,
always doing well. St. Mary Catholic, the division that they play in, it's hard not to see them also making a tournament run. Though last year, what's the team that they always kind of ran into?
Was it Coleman?
Well, yeah, I think it was Coleman. Yeah, always a good program up there as well. And then on the softball side, look, outside of Oshkosh North, we're having a little bit of a down year. I know Kimberly Kokona kind of struggling a little bit. So I'm not sure where our softball teams are going to be at. That's a little more muddied, I guess you could say. Some of the other Division II teams are there.
Like the Fields.
Yeah, exactly.
Freedom.
We expect to be there at the end. New London's always a pretty good team. Maybe we're going to see a surprise there. Maybe Appleton East kind of reclaim some glory there in Division I. Wywega Fremont, always a very good Division III team. So yeah, or Division IV team. We're gonna see a lot of teams kind of surprise us perhaps, but there's no powerhouse. There's no super team like Akana a couple years ago, with that Haley Hestekan or anything. I don't see anything happening this year. But check that out next week. I'm gonna have top baseball and softball teams as the spring season gets going, which, by the way, Brett,
I was just going to say.
We're already close to...
It's April 17th.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably less than a month from some conference. I think track conference meets are less than a month away already.
We're also less than a month away to what, Brett? Our high school sports award show.
Oh, my gosh. That is 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks.
Oh, it is 3 weeks from today.
3 weeks
My goodness.
That's why I've been pushing to get those spring nominees and the premier nominees announced. And I should probably double check and see how many RSVPs we have. And we're actually doing really well. A lot of tickets have been sold for the event, and that's May 8th already. 3 weeks from today, the Fox Cities Performing Arts Center right across the street, downtown Appleton. Red carpet event starts at 6 o'clock. Award show starts at 7. Our guest speaker is the one and only, the legendary Michael Phelps. Looking forward to meeting him. And
he's a swimmer.
Yeah, he won a lot of medals. A lot
of medals.
A lot of gold medals, and he was hanging out with Tiger Woods at the Masters.
Yes, he was, right behind him, yeah. Good stuff.
Tickets are still available for purchase, and they're very reasonable. I don't have I think it's 14 something per ticket. Okay. So check it out. A lot of space at the PAC, so plenty of seats still available. Down. But we have sold quite a few tickets. But go to sportsawards.wisconsinmedia.com. That's where you can buy tickets. That's where you can also see right now our fall and winter nominees. And I think by the end of this week I should be able to have the announcement for the remainder of our nominees.
That's right. That's gonna be fun. So
you, me, and the crew. We were hanging out on Monday trying to hammer.
That's right.
Out
over some dinner.
Trying to figure out, and we're gonna have our team of the year, coach of the year, boys and girls players of the year. Boy, some good candidates. We've
Courage Award.
An incredible Courage Award that we're gonna hand out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Top 3 plays of the year, which will be in real-time voting, what the fans want. We got 3 plays picked out that have happened over the course of the season. It's crazy. I mean, 3 weeks is going to come fast, and then we take a deep breath. Maybe a little downtime after the boys' state baseball tournament. Track 2 is coming up. I don't know if I'll be part of that. We'll see. But then summer is short, and then all of a sudden we're doing this all over again.
Back at it again in August. So going to be fun.
But I want to enjoy summer a little bit.
A little bit. That's all you'll get is a little bit, by the way. So our varsity roundtable tonight, again, we talked about this Appleton East baseball players, Jack Habeck and Zach Schneider. Can't wait to have them on. The Patriots are very excited to be on the show. Actually, a fan of theirs, or perhaps a sister, she goes to college. She's the one who approached me. She's like, sent me an email, say, hey, can you get Appleton East down there? They're doing well. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, after I already okayed it, they go and they beat Appleton North, traditionally a very strong team, a contender in Fox Valley Association. Yeah, so happy to have the guys on. We're going to talk some little Patriot baseball.
That might be the first time they've ever been on.
Yeah, baseball anyway. Yeah, I think you're right on that. So we also unveil, here we go, fantasy draft, favorite defunct professional sports team.
Rosie. Rosie, you okay over there? You've been real quiet today.
I'm good.
Favorite defunct. You know what, Rosie? You're going to pick first.
Oh, I am? Okay.
Yeah, and Brett, do you want to pick second or last?
I'll go second.
Okay. Brett, I'll bring up the rear. So again, now
You
let's
guys
lay
have
down
the advantages.
Let's lay down some ground rules. Right? We're gonna have 4 rounds. Favorite defunct professional baseball teams. Brett, you were talking previously about
Sports teams.
Professional
Yeah,
sports
sports
teams.
not just baseball.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Favorite professional
Freaked me
defunct
out there for a
professional.
sec.
I was
sports.
wondering if that means completely defunct, or does it still eligible if a team has moved to another city but doesn't have that name or brand, that logo anymore?
No, are you saying like perhaps is Baltimore Colts?
Yeah.
I think that qualifies.
Okay, because they're not the Baltimore
They're
Colts
not.
anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the way I took it anyway.
Okay.
so.
Okay.
I'm not thinking of them specifically, but yeah. Okay.
Well, we can all decide if someone brings up. We can all kind of think about if that qualifies or not. So, Rosie, you lead the charge, my friend.
I'm going to go with the team that I've always missed since they've left, and that's the Houston Oilers.
Okay,
that
great.
that was on my list.
Great.
That was on
pick.
my list.
Brett, you are second.
Well, you know what I'm going to pick. Maybe it challenges the old Brewers logo, which should be the current Brewers logo,
Okay.
by the way.
Should be.
As one of the greatest sports logos of all time. I've got to go with the Hartford Whalers.
Yep,
Oh.
exactly. They were on my. It was either
A brilliant logo.
first or second
Brett?
list.
They got the H and the W with the
Yep,
dolphin,
the
or the whale.
Well,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You took my number one.
Plus, they got good colors, green and blue.
I get 2 picks. So here we go. Rosie picked the Houston Oilers. Man, these are 2 great picks right away. Brett picks the Hartford Whalers. I picked the Montreal Expos.
Yes,
Excellent
that's
choice.
a good one, too. Real
Excellent
good.
Montreal
Didn't even
Expos.
think of
I
them.
love the Expos. Now, they played in that awful Olympic Stadium up there. That thing was a mausoleum. Just terrible for baseball. But, man, I grew up watching Delino DeShields.
Tim Raines.
Tim
The
Raines.
Hawk.
Yeah.
Andre Dawson. Vlad Guerrero.
Gary Carter.
Oh, man, those are great.
Yep.
Those are
Randy
great
Johnson.
teams. Yeah, remember when
Andre
the baseball strike happened that one year, and
Oh,
they were like the best
so
team.
good.
Yeah, it was
And then
incredible.
they lost all those good guys.
Yes, it's just unfortunate
Great
what
pick.
happened there.
That's a great pick.
Montreal Expos. So for my round 2, as I start this off again, I want the Expos, the first one. I'm going to go with the Nordiques of Quebec.
Good one, too.
Yep.
Quebec
Another
Nordiques.
good
It's funny
one.
we're doing the hockey teams, but go ahead, Brett. Your second round pick.
I'm going to go with let's go with one of the original NFL teams, the Canton Bulldogs.
Oh wow, that's way
Whoa.
back, my friend.
When the NFL was nothing but small town teams.
And leather helmets.
Somehow the Packers have still
The
survived
Acme
that.
Packers. Rosie.
I am going to go with. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete Maravich, the pistol played for that team.
Yep.
That shit, it's just so odd that they went out to Utah. It just doesn't make
And
any
they're
sense.
still called the
Because when I
Jazz.
think of Jazz, I
Jazz.
think of Utah and Salt Lake City.
Yeah, exactly.
And if New Orleans isn't careful, they're gonna lose the Pelicans too.
Yeah, exactly. Rosie, your third round pick.
I'm going to go hockey now. I'm going to go with the Minnesota North Stars.
Yes. Good
Okay, the North Stars.
That's a good one.
Hey, the Mighty Ducks. Remember
Yeah.
the movie? So the North Stars. Awesome. It's Minnesota North Stars, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a good logo too.
All right, BC.
Well, Rosie picked a team that was green and gold, and I'm going to pick a team that was green and gold. The Seattle Supersonics.
Outstanding.
Oh,
Downtown
go.
Freddie Brown.
Brett, that is a great pick.
Seattle should have a team, and if they do get a team again, I hope that they call them the Supersonics.
Yeah, the Supersonics. So
And
anyway,
not the Sonics, the Supersonics.
Super, super. Rosie, here, I'm going to go over our picks so far. Rosie has the Houston Oilers, New Orleans Jazz, Minnesota North Stars. Brett has the Hartford Whalers, the Canton Bulldogs, and the Seattle Supersonics. And my first 2 picks are Montreal Expos. I want a Canada theme here. Montreal Expos and Quebec Nordiques. Oh boy, now I got to go for the third one. I want to go with an old ABA team.
Yes.
Was it the Cincinnati Royals?
I think so.
Yeah, right. The Cincinnati Royals, I think, were in there. Brett, can you look that up real quick? Cincinnati Royals. I just want to make sure I have this right. For some reason, when I was looking at a history of the ABA, for some reason that came up. The Cincinnati, I think I want to say it was the Cincinnati Royals, but I could be wrong. Does that come up at all?
I think the Royals actually have become the Kings, so they were like the Kansas City Kings then.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the NBA franchise now known as the Sacramento Kings. It was known as the Cincinnati Royals from 57 through 72, and the Rochester Royals before that. But
Cincinnati
Royals, I believe the Big O played for
Yes,
them
he
before
did. I
came
knew.
to the
That's
Bucks.
how I knew. So I
Oscar
want to make sure I
Robertson.
have that. So that's my 3rd round pick. Oh boy, 4th round pick. This is tough. So I have the Expos, the Nordiques, and Cincinnati Royals, and I want to go with an old Negro League team.
Ooh, wow.
Can you look those up, Brett? Oh, there's one that Papa Bell used to play for. Oh, I can't remember the name. If you could look that up, Brett, was it the Monarchs? I want to say.
I can look that up. There's Cool Papa Bell, and he played for the Kansas City Monarchs.
Kansas City Monarchs is what I'm going with.
That's a good one.
Wasn't there a Clowns too or something?
Yeah, there was
That's
a clown
right. Hank
team.
Aaron played for them.
God, they had great. They had great
Indianapolis Clowns. Yeah.
just great team names back then. Monarchs. That's cool. Brett, your 4th round pick.
Well, when you said ABA, I was a little worried that you were going to take my last pick, but I'm going with the legendary Kentucky Colonels.
The Colonels.
Oh, they did Artis Gilmore play for them?
Oh, sure.
Oh, big artist Gilmore.
These are great names, man. I think some of
I
our
should
older.
get a Kentucky Colonels.
You can still get those retro caps.
You know what I want to get too is a Hickory Huskers T-shirt.
Oh,
from
for the
Hoosiers.
love.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Take it easy.
Hickory.
Okay, Rosie, your 4th and final selection.
4th and final will be, you went from the East Coast to the West Coast, the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah, there we
Nice.
go. That qualifies.
Jackie Robinson Day the other
Sure.
day.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
I like this. These are 4 all 3 lists are very, very strong in my opinion. Let me go through them one more time and then I'll put it on Twitter so maybe we get some feedback there. Rosie's, again, these are defunct professional sports teams from any sport. Rosie's Houston Oilers, New Orleans Jazz, Minnesota North Stars, and Brooklyn Dodgers. That's very awesome. Brett, Hartford Whalers. I love that. Canton Bulldogs. You're talking real old school in the NFL. Seattle Supersonics, Kentucky Colonels. And mine are the Montreal Expos, Quebec Nordiques, Cincinnati Royals of the NBA fame, Kansas City Monarchs of the old Negro League.
Those are all good
We all
lists.
have great lists, so we'll put it on there.
Mine's probably the best.
Oh,
but-
get out of here. Well, we're not going to decide that. So
But-
if anyone else wants to add into that, please feel free. And we mentioned that to you too, Trent. Maybe Trent can.
Trent's too busy living.
No,
it up
he
right
can
now.
maybe ceremoniously pick.
I guarantee
who
he's
he
not.
thinks the winner
he's not
are.
listening in or watching in.
Yeah, well, I think he is. So Trent still
How
remains
are
a
the
friend of ours.
podcast numbers?
Very well. They're pretty standard. We always take a little bit of a dip in the spring season because I don't think the interest is high. No offense to the spring sports, usually doesn't
It's
go
just
very
different.
high.
It's just different.
It's a little bit different. Maybe
I think that the interest spikes when it becomes tournament time.
Yes,
Of course, you go to all
absolutely.
those track meets and see all the people, baseball, softball games. are
which,
usually
by the
pretty
way,
full.
is coming up real soon. So actually, next week we're going to look at maybe some top track athletes to watch. As we kind of transition into the postseason for track, because that's coming up in just a matter of weeks. But until then, thank you again, everyone, I say, for checking out another episode of the R&B Show podcast. Brett, take us out one more time, though. If you want to subscribe, please do. You can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, or iTunes. So please subscribe. And if you want to, leave some feedback. You can rate us too as well. So go ahead, Brett.
So I'll do my Hauser impression when they're lighting it up for Virginia in a
Okay,
couple
Marcus
years.
Howard, find Hauser.
Look at that.
Oh, that was perfect.
Pure,
Wow.
yeah, that
was-
means they're going to the play for the Who's.
Okay. They won't.